Choosing a streaming service. It's kind of like choosing a president. You decide on one, but you kind of like a couple of qualities of the other one, and a third party is pointless. One take, here we go. Just this week, NBC has announced they are throwing their hat into the streaming services game with their new offering, Peacock. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The executives over at NBC spent a lot of money on research and development and content for their new platform, but apparently an intern from Staten Island came up with the name Peacock for their streaming service. Listen, ladies, listen very closely. If a man ever calls you and say, hey, if you're not busy later, you want to come over and peacock and chill, block this man immediately. And that gets us into a bigger conversation about the streaming services versus cable television. Cable television has been underserving their customers for years. Is there any cable television show that you can't live without? Exactly. Think about it. MTV no longer plays music. History Channel no longer plays history. Comedy Central no longer offers comedy. I'm just saying we can all agree on that. And the cord cutting has been going on for a long time. Not that kind of cord cutting. We'll get into that later. I'm saying people leaving cable television to go to the streaming services. And the streaming services are serving the customers specifically, something that cable hasn't done for a long time. Not going to mention anybody's names. I'm not going to mention anybody names. Not going to mention any names. I got to edit that out. But it's one take. I can't. All I'm saying is it's similar to the taxis and the Uber. Think about that. Taxis has been underserving their market for years. If you want to go to the airport at 6 in the morning, you had to call the night before, go outside, stand on your street in the dark and in the snow, and cross your fingers hoping that a cab would come. And you couldn't call anybody to see. You're just like, well, I hope it comes. And then if they go the wrong way, too bad. If they give bad customer service, too bad. If they, go out when it's a thunderstorm, okay, yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying they've been underserving the market for a long time. And then somebody created Uber, and then the taxis were mad. I'm like, y'all should have thought about this a long time ago. And that's where we are with cable television. Think about it. There's nothing on cable television that anyone will miss. Basically, what's leading the ratings in cable television is Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. And that's only if you're interested in playing the game Two Truths and a Lie. I'm just saying that's a pretty good joke. And this is an apolitical show. I didn't even tell you which one the lie was. Figure that out for yourself. Cable television has not been the same since September of 2013. If you remember what happened then, that was the series finale of Breaking Bad on a channel called AMC, which is American Movie Channel or Classics. I don't even know. Remember, that was the height of cable television. Remember that? Everyone was watching it at the same time. Twitter was going nuts. And as a country, we all shared in this moment together. And that was almost 7 years ago. It's been going downhill ever since then. And so fast that someone invented Redbox. That's how bad cable is. That somebody would get up, get out of bed, drive to the nearest Walgreens, stand outside in the snow and cold, brave the elements to choose, or the sun. You know how they can't see it in the sun? That's the biggest element. But they choose a movie, rent it, and then return it the next day like a caveman. That's how bad it was. And it comes out of that. Netflix was created, where somebody's like, hey, you can do it by mail. Not only can you do it by mail, you can do it two at a time by mail. Kind of like voting in this election. Come on! That's my second political joke. That is strike two. No more politics jokes. That was pretty good, too. But listen, all the names of these streaming services have absolutely lost control. Like what? I'm going to read some of these names to you. These are real streaming service platforms. Hulu, Quibi, Philo, Roku, Fubo, Quelly. These are real. Mubi, Ovid, and Spool. All sound like streaming service platforms, but also have a inappropriate Urban Dictionary definition. Like what are all those? If you've never heard of any of those, all of those sound low-key inappropriate. Like, dude, I've been dating my girlfriend for 3 months. Finally, she agreed to Hulu. What? That, if you didn't, dude, I'm taking this girl out to dinner. Maybe if she's lucky, I'm going to ask her to Roku. Well, okay. I'm assuming that's some kind of street slang that I don't know about. Quelly? What is Quelly? I don't know if that's a streaming platform or like some kind of inappropriate behavior that someone from a Tinder DM suggested. Like, what are all these names? It reminds me of all the pyramid schemes. You know those multi-level marketing, but like the name doesn't really say what it does? Like, do you have any idea what this does? Do you have any idea what they do? I'm just saying, do you have any idea what they do? No, you don't. They're like, oh, we don't. Let me just go out to coffee. Once we get coffee, I haven't seen you since high school, but I'd love to take out you to coffee, and I'll explain when we get there. It has to be a very generic name, and that's like all of these streaming platforms. I feel like the same people are naming the MLMs, the same people naming the streaming services, are the same people that named this restaurant. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a real restaurant in Ohio called Sam and Ella's Chicken Palace. Sam and Ella's Chicken Palace. Say it quickly 5 times and we'll wait for you to get that joke. Are we ready? Okay, moving forward. Listen, Netflix and chill has been the ultimate pickup line for as long as I can remember Netflix existing. And that's what these other platforms are missing. Think about it. They don't have a pickup line to go with them. Listen, and no one would ever say Peacock and chill. We've covered that. As a writer, as a comedian, I feel like I've come up with a couple for these smaller streaming platforms to maybe catch some heat. Maybe a couple of these will catch on. You can use these. You're welcome. I wrote these myself. What do you think? Philo and Hi, though. That's pretty good. Yo, babe, you want to come over later? Philo and Hi, though. Maybe that needs to involve a wink. Philo and Hi, though. I can't do it. But I'm saying you could figure out a way to ease that in to a conversation. What about Roku and not Sudoku? You want to come over later? What do you want to do? I don't know. Roku and not Sudoku. Everyone knows the context, just like everyone knows the context of Netflix and chill. That's a pretty. What about if you want to be super spontaneous and you don't have any plans later, you want to come over and Quibi and ad-libby? That's a great joke. Who turns down an invitation to Quibi and ad-libby? No one. Also, obviously, Ovid and COVID, because you're going to be sharing respiratory droplets because you're going to be very close together. Okay, I don't have to explain that one. And obviously the last one that needs no explanation, Mubi and not making that joke. You get it. Anyway, listen, that adds to the list of all the streaming platforms that are popular, well, kind of popular, that you already knew existed, or at least should. CBS has All Access, which I don't know who's ever watched anything on that. If somebody's like, dude, there's this new show that will change your life. Sweet, where can I see it? CBS All Access. No thanks. There's probably nothing on that platform that is going to require me to create a new username and password for it. Like, I got to create a new profile. I'm good on CBS All Access. There's also BET Plus. Bet you didn't know that streaming service existed. It does. I looked it up. It says it's mostly full of old Tyler Perry movies, which I love Tyler Perry movies as much as the next guy. But if Comic View's not on there, I ain't subscribing to it. There's also PBS Passport, the streaming service that absolutely no one has asked for. Has anyone ever DVR'd Frontline ever? Probably not. There's also HBO Go, which I used to borrow my buddy's HBO password so I could watch old episodes of Entourage, which ironically, if Ari Gold was anywhere near a good manager, he would have gotten Vinny Chase onto Netflix by this point. That is neither here nor there. There's also Disney Plus, which I think you have to have a prerequisite of children to have Disney Plus. If you're a single person and watch Disney Plus, you are a psychopath or you just are addicted to mushrooms and love watching Alice in Wonderland. One of the two. And of course, Roku, which is if food stamps was a streaming service. Come on, John, stop picking on Roku. I don't know what's on that channel, but it's probably great. Probably one of my old specials is on there, actually. I don't know. There's also YouTube TV, which is gaining popularity, but I don't know what it is. I thought it was just everything on YouTube now on your television, but that's a different thing. I don't have any idea. If you can't find something to entertain you on YouTube, you probably need to see a doctor. I don't know what YouTube TV is. I thought it was just a live stream of PewDiePie's basement. I don't know what is on YouTube TV, nor do I know how to get it. And that's come a long way since I was a kid. I grew up in a very Christian home, very sheltered, very religious, very conservative. We didn't even have a television until high school, and my high school buddies would be like, dude, can we come over to your house and watch the game? And I'll be like, I don't know. What channel is it on? They'll be like, it's on Fox. I was like, well, it honestly depends on the weather. What night is it? Let me check the weather. Thursday night, it's going to be tough. I don't know what the cloud cover is going to look like. And if we do have it, Dad's going to have to probably go up to the roof and make some adjustments. And I'll yell out the window, nah, a little bit where you had it before. Move it back to where you had it. Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. That's what television used to be like. And now we have a million streaming services and a million platforms, but I don't even know what is on all of these channels. And listen, I just don't want to be the guy. Can you hear that? That's something outside of my house. I just don't want to be the guy that doesn't have the channel. Hey, we're all going over to John's house to watch the game. Listen, guys, this is embarrassing. I don't have that channel. Like, oh, sweet, dude, are you poor? We got some Totino's pizzas. No disrespect to Totino's. I do love some Totino's. I buy the additional pepperonis and put more on there just to get around the system. Anyway, I don't want to be the poor guy that doesn't have the channels. Thus, I have to get all of them. It's like Bravo. I think I have Bravo. Never once in my life have I ever watched the channel, but I do have it. I do want the option to watch Bravo if I want to. I don't know what's on that channel, but if somebody said everyone's watching it, I don't have it, I'd feel left out. And that comes to choosing a streaming service platform. It's kind of like, it's eerily similar to choosing health insurance. Like, you need a broker to figure it out. There's a million health insurance plans. You don't know what's right for you. You need to tell the broker what you like, and they'll come back to you and tell you a perfect plan for you. Like, let's say you went to your insurance broker. I have asthma. I'm accident prone, and I have a history of heart disease in my family. Perfect. Let me go to work. I'll call you back with a perfect health insurance plan for you. I wish there was someone in my life that I could say, hey, listen, I like live sports. I like Ozarks. I watch the Carbonaro Effect sometimes late at night, and I watch Yellowstone. Great, John, we'll be back tomorrow with the perfect streaming service platform for you. But there's none of that. We just have to be out here guessing which ones we like and which ones we don't like, which ones fit our needs and which don't, which brings us back to the original reason all of these streaming service platforms exist. The internet. And if the internet goes out, all of these go out. And that's what's crazy, because that is actually the umbilical cord that we all live under. And that's a cord we are never prepared to cut. Have you seen anyone without internet? They turn insane. And my major point with this whole streaming service platform presentation was to try to convince you guys we don't need another platform. We don't need Peacock. Listen, NBC, we've got plenty. We don't need to choose whether or not we're going to get Peacock. And I had decided before I came on here, I'm not getting Peacock. But then I read a news article that said at the end of 2020, The Office is leaving Netflix and going to be exclusively on Peacock, which means I got to create another username and password and sign up for another streaming service. And that's what I'm about to do right now. We'll see you next week.